The Jurassic franchise is no stranger to killing off some of the most overpowered animals in their arsenal for high-key random reasons. Sometimes it's purely just for the sake of plot to protect a more loved dinosaur. Not 87's though, only big bad that did not die on screen. Out of all the ones that did die, however, the Indominus Rex usually is at the front of the pack when it comes to people asking, what if she lived? She wasn't fully grown and showed how capable she was as a hybrid. The chain reaction of destruction she caused in Nublar was more akin to a natural disaster, because what do you mean she murked a bunch of other dinosaurs and people, and then sent out more dinosaurs to kill even more people? She really was a menace. I don't even have to go into how she died, while most of us can agree that scene was one of the coolest in the franchise. Oh my days, did Rexy and Blue's plot armor save the entire verse, and I mean that too. Out of every single dinosaur that could have lived, if she survived, I don't think there would even be Jurassic World Dominion. So after scrolling through some of my older videos, I saw I did not do a video on this, so here it is. What would have likely happened if the Indominus Rex survived? Yeah, I'm years late to this hypothetical, but nevertheless, if I want to do it, I'ma do it. Please don't clip that out of context. So subscribe and join the Discord if you like this sort of content. I am recording this at 3:45 in the morning, so let's see if I fall asleep at the desk or finish the recording. We're gonna start off where it's most relevant. Our sub-adult hybrid battling the remaining Raptor squad and Owen. Actually no, it starts when she slams Blue into the wall. I usually give Rexy crap for plot armor, but every time I rewatch this scene, the one thing that always runs through my mind is how in the world did Blue even get up, much less continue the fight? Mind you, the Indominus Rex hit a truck casually and left it airborne for like 3 seconds. When she hit Blue, you could see she was pissed off because they went against her. So Blue was taking the direct shot to her body, and yeah, even breathing is high-key wild. They really made the new gen Velociraptors the strongest. So let's say in this scenario Blue dies or is heavily crippled from the first strike. The Indominus then takes out their other raptors and turns her attention back onto the humans, which brings in the face of the franchise, Rexy. And without Blue to come in to assist, Rexy straight up dies, and probably the most as well. I know crocs can go a year and so without food, and InGen's Mosasaurus definitely has croc DNA, but without the initial meal plus the time it took to be free, she likely dies. As a matter of fact, with the Indom alive, there is no need for Wu to even send people into the lagoon. There could be the chance that InGen and Wu somehow try and get her back, but how are they getting this thing back is anyone's guess. So just like that, Rexy and Blue dying has sealed the fate of every person currently here. The Indominus straight up is gonna murk Owen and those kids, and Clara might just pass on, afraid of what her sister will do to her. With the main problem out of the way, the Indominus may retreat to a more secluded spot and try to rest. Or she could just go and follow up on a dinosaur she did give orders to in Cretaceous. I'm of course talking about Toro. Actually, plan to do a video with him and Major soon. Anyway, after seeing that Toro failed once again, she's gonna do one of two things. The first is sending Toro off again and her going in a different direction. Or there's the second option, where failure isn't tolerated, which means we get no more Toro. I would lean more towards the first option, however. The thing about the Indominus Rex, at least from what we saw on screen, is that she has no issue using other animals for her own personal gain. Like, she doesn't understand pack dynamic and so on to the point of actually bonding. It's just to benefit her while she offers a much less valuable trade. But hey, it's better than nothing or being ripped apart. So with Toro and the Indominus after the campers, things will get ugly. Some might disagree, but if just one member of the Nublar 6 dies, every single one of them dies before Chaos Theory. From Sammy all the way to Kenji, each of these guys has saved each other or the group at some pivotal point, no matter how useless you think any of the 6 were. Just one of them kicking the bucket would lead to disaster. Is there a chance that they could survive to the end of Chaos Theory if one of them dies? Sure, if they get really cautious and take extra steps, but again, no matter how useless any of them are or how we see them, one dying throws everything off. The Indominus herself is extremely smart. She tricked experienced mercenaries, guards, and so on. She'll also likely figure out where the group is heading to next, and that they're stranded here, setting up an ambush with her camouflage and likely using Toro as a distraction to cause chaos. In this scenario, I see the Indominus finally breaking her camo and dealing with at least 2 of them. Sorry folks, but no plot here for the Nublar 6. Seeing what the menace has done to much more experienced adults, some teenagers with almost zero knowledge on hybrids and survival skills are gonna get eaten alive. One thing that's important to note is just how much seeing or hearing another kid their age die is gonna affect them. I'm not sure if any of you could relate, so yeah, drop it down below if you can, but when I was a freshman in high school, I thought there was no way someone my age could die. I can't explain to you why I thought that, I just did. But after hearing the news about one of my classmates' tragic passing, I realized, oh, this is real life. There were points where each of the members thought another one died at some point, but more often than not, they did not see it. They just assumed they were gone. Imagine being a kid and seeing one of your friends get picked up and ripped apart. They are either going to be frozen in fear, try to get a new strategy, or later on get killed by the Indom, Toro, or something else because they're so fearful and not completely focused around them. This now brings up the question on who is going to get to her first, because the Indominus isn't just going to be left to live out her life on Nublar. Even before the events of, well, the main Fallen Kingdom timeline, Henry will send people together, like when he needed samples from her bones in the Mosa habitat, so Mantah Corp isn't getting her. Even if she was allowed to stay on Nublar a little longer while InGen preps on how to get her, Mantah Corp would be risking a lot trying to go after her now. Asset 87 was abandoned by Wu, so he didn't really care, and the Rexes, also rare, are nothing too special to Wu at this point. But the Indominus Rex, his life's work to create a functional hybrid, dude might turn into Van Helsing if he hears someone else try to get to her. If she's left for half a year while they prepare, she's gonna gain some size. Not the full 10-ton mark in 50 feet, but now she's gonna be over 9 tons. Claire had mentioned that her growth was faster than expected, and she was just shy of 9 tons while only being 3 years old at the time of the movie. So I think a few more isolated months with unlimited food access would make her put on a few hundred kilograms, possibly a ton. I don't know what InGen puts in their dinosaurs, but they mature rapidly. Zeb is like 4 or 5 years old and he was 10 tons. Anyway, with no restrictions, she will start to slaughter initially any herbivore she comes across. However, after some time, I think she would change. The whole reason she was the maniac we saw is because all she had known for her entire life was a crane and some walls. So she thought she was the biggest and baddest thing around and went on a killing spree. I can't say for certain, but there is the possibility that after a month or two, she starts to slow things down and starts to hunt more so for food and fun. As crazed as she is, she has some understanding of how certain things work, so wiping out the island's remaining population of large herbivores isn't the best move. She is now a lot more experienced, and after surviving a previous onslaught of human weapons, she'll try to play it safe, or set a trap like she did with the recovery team. However, as bad as the Indom is, I don't think even she can hold off InGen's advances forever. And after many deaths later, she's sedated and transported back to the Lockwood Manor. Now this is where things get dark. Since the Indominus Rex is alive, there is no need for Eli Mills to spend millions to fund a fake dinosaur rescue mission, and Owen and Claire are dead too. With a fully functioning Indominus Rex, the first Indoraptor likely won't be as unstable as the one we saw in Fallen Kingdom. With Wu quietly working on this project for years, the Lockwood Manor would transform into a private service for manufacturing biological military weapons, which is what the Indoraptor was meant to be. Now that is the first outcome if they decided to just focus on the Indominus, but there's a second one. All those dinosaurs in Nublar are still worth many more millions than it costs to just get them. And if they absolutely need Blue's blood for the Indoraptor's perfect behaviors, then no one can stop the— oh wait, I just remembered, Blue is dead, so Wu's gonna have to find another way to control the hybrid's independent nature. It's gonna be rough. So the result stays the same in them just creating militarized biological weapons. The difference now is that the Lockwood estate would just be richer. After auctioning off dinosaurs with no one to set them free, they get sold off to private buyers. This brings us back to Mantah Corp. Even if they don't have the Indom, they still have the other dinosaurs, and they have something Wu wants since Blue is dead: a way to control the dinosaurs. And with a good chunk of the Nublar 6 dead, there's no one to tear down their operation. So I do think that InGen and Mantah Corp would do a collab. This would be a powerful coalition too. InGen is creating highly specialized hybrids built for war, while Mantah Corp develops technology to control them. With Mantah Corp and InGen teaming up, Lewis and Biosyn as a whole wouldn't even come close to the amount of power they had in Dominion. Also, Zeb likely won't exist now. The black market wouldn't be as bad like we saw in Malta, but the same people Eli Mills sold the dinosaurs to would likely still conduct business with others, just more discreet. So there is no apocalypse, grasshoppers, and global threats, at least not in the traditional sense. The Indoraptors would not be the final variation of hybrids they would make for war. Soon many different variations would arise, both carnivores and herbivores, and without anyone to tug on whatever morality he has left, Henry Wu would just keep making these things because he never stops and will always be driven to create something no one else can. And with the Lockwood Manor backing him with funding, an actual war including dinosaurs could take place. This still will be relatively small because no matter how strong a dinosaur is, a large target is easily getting killed by a drone or something else. So that's what I think would happen in my opinion if she survived. She'll live out the rest of her days in a similar enclosure to her original, or she gets a bigger one if Wu wants her behavior to change. And with her alive, Biosyn never gained so much control, with InGen and Mantah Corp leading the globe in this sort of technology. But let me know what you guys think would happen if she was still alive. Don't forget to subscribe. Have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow.